Everything going well? So, good evening.
This young lady knew about the book before anybody else.
I've got a nice copy of it upstairs, haven't I?
Hopefully one day. Many, many congratulations. I knew it operated quite well. Thank you very much.
This is Mr. Petrovsky, the directors of all the museums in the world. That's his description.
Thank you. I don't think how do you officially say?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hello. I'm sorry to interrupt the party, but I wanted to welcome you here. I'm Rosalind Saville, I'm director of the Wallace Collection, and it's just magic to see you all here tonight for this great celebration of enamels. The host this evening, as you know, is Professor David Khalili, and he has three marvellous nouns attached to his name. He's a scholar, he's a collector, and he's a philanthropist. And I think if I could be all three things in the world, those are three things I'd absolutely adore to have and put together. It's so rare you get all that combined in one person. And as a collector, you may know he has acquired more than 25,000 works of art, which he has brilliantly enabled to be shown throughout the world, to be catalogued by the best experts in the world. And he's covered such a range of subjects, from Islamic art to Japanese art, to Swedish art, Spanish art, and now here we are celebrating enamels from 1700 to 2000. I just think that's absolutely, truly remarkable. And I've been in Oxford today at the Ashmolean Museum, and we were talking about the David Khalili Research Institute for Middle Eastern Studies in Oxford, and he is everywhere, wherever you go, and what magic to have him here. In fact, now he's got to the end of his enamels, I'm rather hoping I can twist his arm and make him really keen on 18th century France and get him completely embedded with us at the Wallace Collection, because what could be better? But today I can tell you that we have got some of our enamels on show on this floor for you to see, and those of you who have been looking at this delicious book, and at only £35, I hope you're all going to buy it. There's a lovely Petitot enamel of Louis XIV, and we too have a box that shows him that's on show that you can look at and I can show you later on, as well as we're celebrating almost the completion of our 12th French 18th century room, which will be the room of miniatures and gold boxes. So our 18th and 19th century enamels collection will be in that very precious new cabinet environment that I hope you'll fall in love with, like I am, and feel that it's an enormously worthwhile venture. Because the sheer joy of enamels, as you all know, is that because they're fired, those colours are held forever. And you may lose colour from textile, from paper, from furniture, but when it comes to enamels, it's there. And when you flick through that book, you can see those objects looking as exquisite and fun and zappy and dynamic as they were the day they were made for the various patrons, whether it was in 1700 or 10 years ago. So I think it's a wonderful opportunity for us to celebrate enamels tonight. But actually, we're really celebrating David Khalili, because there aren't many men like him on this planet. And it's so lovely that he's here with us this evening to make this a very special enamel evening and a celebration also of the Khalili collections. So I'm going to introduce him to you, and here he is. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rosalind. You have gone over the board a bit, but I forgive you for it. Tonight we are here for another very specific reason. Obviously, the collection is known, and I'm glad that I'm announcing the publication in Wallace Collection. This is one of my favorite places in London. And we came here because some of these rooms have a bit of resemblance to what I used to see, and I see each time I go to Hermitage. So tonight I'm here to introduce the guest speaker. It's very difficult to say what you want to say about Professor Petrovsky. I could make it very short by saying that I know only one triangle of heaven, and that is State Hermitage Museum. It is one of the greatest buildings on the face of the earth. It holds one of the most magnificent group of objects the world has ever seen, and it's being run by one of the best directors the world has ever seen. So I call Hermitage, State Hermitage Museum, a triangle of heaven. So if you have not been to Hermitage, I suggest that you should go to Hermitage, because it's the experience of a lifetime. What should I say? I've made a few notes. Obviously I could stay here and talk to you for 3 hours about Professor Petrovsky, but I'll make it short. It is little wonder that in 1997, a minor planet was named Petrovsky by the Astronomical Union in joint honor of Mikhail Borisovich Petrovsky and his father, Boris Petrovsky. Following in his father's footsteps, he has been responsible for bringing the collection of the Hermitage to the wider world, resulting in the establishment of the Hermitage Room in Somerset House, London, the Guggenheim Hermitage, and the Hermitage Amsterdam. His effort over the last 20 years has been recognized by many countries, and he has been invested with numerous orders and medals, both in his home country and overseas, including the Order of Rising Sun and the Order of Honor, just to name a few. I'm not going to go long, because tonight you are here to look at some of the enamels, to look at the book, and to listen to my favorite colleague, Professor Petrovsky.
Well, thank you very much. Certainly it's not about me, but I came here just to show you that the best part of the collection, which is now in Hermitage, is in good shape. It's very well visited. The numbers are approximate, because we don't charge for the entrance, only charge for the entrance to the museum, but for today it's approximately 350,000 visitors have seen the collection, which is shown in the Piquet Hall of the Winter Palace. Certainly the catalogue which we published is all finished. We sent you the last copies, so maybe we have to print another 1,000 or something like this. It's a very popular exhibition. It's a beautiful one. It's very popular. Everyone is happy to see it. Well, everybody from small children to the Prime Minister of Russia, Vladimir Putin, who also visited the exhibition and was glad to see how beautiful it is. Certainly today we are celebrating the book. The book, which is an example and symbol of two things: scholarship, because it's a wonderful scholarly book about enamels, and the collecting, which is a fantastic spirit of collecting. And especially when I speak about enamel, people wants to understand why my friend David became so involved in collecting enamels, because it's a kind of a, well, he's a famous collector, he's a spirit of collecting what? Enamels. Enamels, it's a miracle. The people always want to do something which looks like nature or better than nature. And most of the times they don't succeed. Nature is always better than what we can do. But enamel, civilization managed to do something which really looks at the real precious stones. It's really precious, it's really beautiful, it's as good as nature and sometimes even better. So, this I do understand why, David, you love enamel so much, and why it's such a spiritual thing. It's really a great example of the very few things which our civilization really produced from the nature, and competitive to the nature. And there is another thing about the collecting. I'm always citing you, David, many times in Russia when this great collector says and writes that he's not a owner, he is the keeper of the collections which he has to give to the next generations. I am citing you not only for the collectors. With collectors it's okay. I'm citing you to the governments and to our state. The state which owns the collections has to understand it's not ownership, it's they keep that to the next generation, so that they have no right to do whatever they want with the collections. It's their obligation and not their right. So I involve you in some political discussions which we do have in our museum world in Russia. The collection is really beautiful, and it is difficult to say what is the best thing. But the book, which combines at the collection enamels of all over the world and studies these roots between the civilizations, the movement of invention and tastes in enamels from west to east and east to west and in such in spirals and so on. It's extremely interesting just to study and to see this in the exhibition. And so I came to assure you that the collection is in good shape. We're waiting for you to come to take it back. Also, it will be a pity we made the prolongation. I hope you signed the documents which we need for the prolongation, because
You don't need to sign it.
yeah, because it's always a big bureaucratic procedure. And also, I have to came to give you a film on your collection, because I have a program on Russian television on Cultural Channel, and one of the films have been done about this collection. So it's David and me, and the film is about me talking about how wonderful the collection is and what I think about the beauty of the collection and what we think about all the historical aspects of enamels presented in this collection, and comparing it a little bit with our collection in Hermitage. But, well, great collection is great, and we are really very happy to have it in Hermitage and to study it also and to use it being in Hermitage to help us to study the enamels which we have. So thank you very much, David. Thank you all for coming here to celebrate this really great achievement. We have seen this book. The book it's a new book, but we have it already in Hermitage. We're giving this gift to our distinguished guests. It's a wonderful book, as I already told, about beautiful things, but it's also a great, great book of scholarship. So I congratulate and thank all the colleagues and friends who have done the book and done the study and who have collected all these beautiful things, which sometimes have been unknown, unseen, not understood that it is enamel and not a porcelain and so on. I also remember here all the stories you told me about many objects which are in the collection. So congratulations to us all with this wonderful book which celebrates a wonderful collection. Thank you.
Don't start talking yet, sorry. Because thank you, Professor Piotrowski. It's magic to have you back in the Wallace collection. We're very thrilled that you're here. And of course, it's very topical, this, because whereas the other collections I described of David Khalili have been shown since the mid-1990s in various extraordinary, brilliant, wonderful museums throughout the world, the Hermitage has got the first display in 2009 to 10 of this enamel collection, and therefore it's beautifully topical. And I said that David Khalili was a scholar, a collector, and a philanthropist. Well, we talked about this amazing collection. His philanthropy is obvious because of where he's allowed it to be shown and the publications we're looking at. But as a scholar, he recognizes the need for other scholars to work on his collection and to be able to study it and present it to a wider world. And in this, he has been deliciously served by Hayden Williams, who has done the work on this book. He has written and edited it with other great international scholars too. But I, as a curator, bow down to the scholars who curate and look after and publish works of art. And I want to introduce him to those of you who don't know him, all you do, of course, Hayden Williams, to say a few words. Thank you.
Well, good evening. Fearing that I might make this sound like an acceptance speech of the Academy Awards, I do want to take this opportunity to thank all those that were involved in the preparation of this book, Enamels of the World. First of all, I have to thank David Khalili for entrusting me with the project and for being infinitely patient when it took a whole lot longer than we had originally thought. I also want to thank Andrew Keelan, who is the administrative curator of the collection, who from the outset was incredibly supportive and enthusiastic. Then I was helped greatly by the specialists who contributed the introductory essays. They were constantly patient with me and giving me invaluable advice. Then we moved to the photographers and the other people, including those who did picture research, the design and the production. Those of you that have looked at the book will have noticed there's a CD in that book. It's small, but the amount of work that was involved to create it was prodigious. I'd like to thank all the people that were involved in that. The collection is very important because it places the subject in a global context. Also, it makes it a subject in its own right. Within the set time span of the 300 years designated by the book, works from all major centres of enamel production are represented. And amassed, I think one is struck by an extraordinary sense of richness and variety. Those of you that may have the chance to go to St. Petersburg before the 18th of April, will sense something of this awe-inspiring magnificence. When you walk around, I think you'll soon become aware of how varied the nature of the enamel material is itself. It can be translucent, opaque, it can be burnished, it can be matte. Then you realize it's used in many different ways. The filigree technique, which was the earliest, followed by cloisonné, champlevé, plique à jour, and painted enamel. These different techniques were used for all manner of objects, ranging from small pieces of jewellery through to vases, plaques, and even pieces of furniture. On these objects, enamel could either play a major role in the decoration or sometimes a subsidiary, but it is always a significant presence in the work. I think when you see the collection, what in the end strikes you most is the inventiveness and the ingenuity of the enamellers who had worked on it. When you consider the incredible technical problems they faced in producing these things, I think you sometimes wonder why they didn't just give up, but they didn't, and they proceeded to make the most extraordinary works of art. This collection really is a monument to their achievement, and for me it's been a great honour to be able to have worked with them. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Hayden. That brings to an end the formal proceedings this evening, but on behalf of all of you, I'd just like to say a huge thank you to David. And what a gorgeous party, a lovely way for us to celebrate fabulous works of art. And I hope you enjoy wandering around and feeling at home here this evening, that you love the book, and that we look forward to seeing what you're going to embark on next, and because it's always a treat to hear of new subjects. So thank you very much indeed.